Hey, Chad and Scott here from Albany Brewcrafters.
You guys?
About a month and a half later.
Yeah.
Following up on our Albany Ale project. We brewed it on October 20th. Today's December 4th or 5th?
5th.
Yeah, about a month and a half or so. Scott did an all-grain brew. We fermented it at your house. You had like a chest freezer.
Yep.
That you can control.
Temperature controlled.
He did the all-grain version. I did the extract. Unfortunately, for whatever reason, your beer went kaput.
yeah, it ended up tasting terrible. I must have stressed the yeast somehow, probably didn't aerate, and it ended up just tasting soapy, almost Belgian-y, but
yeah.
just
like
past that, like just phenolic and gross.
How am I trapping black ones?
A little bit like that, yeah, just, where it's that really sharp soap flavor. That's all I can call it. It's just gross.
Well, I mean, we still got my beer to try,
yeah.
and I don't know if you can see this on camera, but it's like a beautiful burgundy copper color, and it's actually clear.
Yeah, it's super clear.
Because when I should have done some videos or take some pictures of when I was like bottling. There's just sediment everywhere. I cold crashed it for 2 days, and it was still.
I actually cold crashed it too. Although I transported it here, so that probably ruined that.
I had it on the porch for like 2 days.
Yeah.
It was like, I don't know, the 40s or something. Anyway, so OG on this was 1065, final gravity was 1018, so that gives an ABV of 6.17, say 6.2 ABV. 71% apparent attenuation. I'll put the recipe in the description box below. So, anyways, I've had this many times, so I'm going to let Scott give all the first impressions.
Okay. Well, I love the color and the clarity. It's awesome. I don't necessarily think the color is what they designed it to be, because that Marris Otter extract was a little darker than like 6-row would give you, but it looks awesome. Like, it looks great.
And a nice 2-finger head on it or so.
Yeah, it smells good. It doesn't smell of any one thing too much. A little bit of malt, a little bit of hops, pretty well balanced.
I almost smell like cherry or something.
Yeah, I don't know if I'm getting that.
It doesn't have like a...
Yeah.
I mean, it's not particularly aromatic, but...
Yeah, exactly. Like, there's nothing really standing out to me.
It doesn't smell like homebrewy, I guess.
No, it definitely doesn't. Yeah.
Alright, want to dive in here?
Cheers.
Cheers.
This actually reminds me of one of my first homebrews, which was like a Sam Adams Boston Ale clone.
Right.
It's kind of along those lines, like not too middle of the road, like good hop character.
Yeah. It's so hard to describe though, because like for me, like I've never had a beer like this before. I mean, it's based on a over 100-year-old recipe, and it's literally brewed with corn syrup and sugar. And the malt base was only 2 things, just 6-row and corn grits. Yeah,
it's sweet, but I get some of the alcohol too, which I'm surprised. Just kind of sits at the back of the throat. I don't know if it's alcohol or if it's something else.
It's kind of like a dry.
It's definitely like a dry. It kind of dries me out, like as it sits
like
there.
Like alcohol, or?
No, not necessarily. Just I'm not sure what to call it.
Yeah, so it's such a very difficult beer to describe. It's sweet. I do get like almost like a cherry or like almost like orange peel kind of flavor on it. There is. I never used a cluster hop. I never had a beer with cluster hops before.
No, I wonder if that. I've never either. So
I don't know what that.
I wonder if that's what it is, but I can't really. I can't describe it. Like meaning, like I just can't think of particular
anything to compare.
Like BJCP or otherwise. Like there's.
It's a traditional ale, so.
Yeah.
I mean, this is a recipe that goes back way before Prohibition, so we had very limited things to use. And I think this is the.
I mean, I think everyone who's ever had one of these, I guess they always say it's like grainy, and I'm like, grainy is a very generic way to describe something, and maybe that's the best word to use for it. Is like, it is a little bit grainy, but like.
See, I was taking grainy to taste like like lager, like a dirty tap or something.
I always feel like it's the taste of like the actual, the malt if you want to like put it in your mouth.
Yeah.
And like you get the little sweetness, but you also get like the actual
like,
husk like flavor.
Yeah, like earthy, like rusticness.
Yeah, that's definitely kind of what I get. Is like that earthy flavor feels like it's coming from the hops, and then I'm definitely getting a graininess along with it. It's pretty enjoyable.
There's a general sweetness. It's hard to describe. I mean, it's got to be from the corn syrup and the turbinado sugar. And we wound up putting, what, double or quadruple the amount of sugar that was on the recipe?
Yeah. Something like that. It looks like, I mean, you ended up with 1.018, so you fermented out most of it. You got like a medium body.
Yeah.
So there's definitely some sugar left.
Well, that Newark ale that we
balance.
used, that's... I mean, I talked to Craig Ravina, and he said that they deliberately use a low attenuating yeast because they wanted a sweet beer.
Okay.
So, I mean, this is more or less the same yeast strain they used to use 100 years ago. As far as drinkability, I mean, it's really smooth.
Yeah. Really easy to drink. Obviously not a palate wrecker.
And it's
nice.
It's very versatile, too. I had this with Thanksgiving dinner.
I can see that, yeah. Yeah, it'll go with everything.
Yeah.
Essentially.
It's sweet, and there's, some, I mean, it's well balanced. There's some hoppiness to it. There's like this mystery fruit character that I don't know where it's coming from.
Yeah, I'm kind of getting that like as we go through. It's like
I think it's at a perfect temperature right now. I think we had to sit down for about 15 minutes before we started filming. If you drink this ice cold or fridge temp, it's just kind of like
Yeah.
When you get it down to high 40s, low 50s.
Yeah, I gotta take a shot at it again. Try and make it again.
Yeah, this was definitely of all the homebrews I've ever made, this was my most pleasantly surprising.
Okay.
Good. Like, I wasn't expecting it to be anything. I'm just gonna make this just to do the blog and the experience of it. And we got the whole Albany Ale thing going.
So there are no expectations for it to be any great.
Exactly.
But
yeah, I mean, I had it on tap. I had it on tap at Pump Station, and it didn't really taste like this. It was a little bit more lagery tasting, kind of had like a Coors Light kind of taste to it.
Mm-hmm.
It had more hops to it too. So this is totally different, but as a home, this doesn't have that night. It doesn't have that extract twang to it. Like, actually, if you drink it straight from the fridge, you get that twanginess.
Oh, do you? Okay.
But when you let it mellow,
I think it's when it's getting warmer. I feel like I'm getting the sweetness a little bit more, and definitely the bitterness.
Yeah. And like this kind of I get like a cherry kind of taste, but. Yeah, I'm pleasantly surprised. I would give this an 8 out of 10.
Well, fuck you. Yours ended up good. Mine didn't. I'm going to give you a 7 just to say that there's room for growth in this Albany Ale.
Yeah. I would brew this again.
I want to brew mine again at some point. It was, and it's a relatively cheap recipe.
Yeah.
And obviously decent product. So just next time, either I'm going to use a different yeast or I'm just going to aerate correctly. I mean, I know that's a slightly temperamental yeast as far as temperature goes, but I should be able to pull it off.
Yeah. You could try. You could probably just try any kind of British style ale yeast or something like that.
Yeah, I think that's the guy is just any of those classic British ale yeast will be fine. English ale yeast.
I mean, it worked for me, so. Yeah. All right, so thanks to Scott for coming over, helping me taste test this beer, even though I've had it many times before.
Not a problem.
I'll give you a 6-pack.
Okay, cool. Nice.
Thanks for watching, and we'll see you around.
Cheers, guys.
Cheers.